get at the story, I'll tell you the story. Well, it's about depression, but it was like a terror for me. So I used to live in Boulder, and I had a very busy life here. And then one day she says, we're moving to Preston. And we did. And my son was very young. In Preston, where I lived, there's like nothing there. We didn't have a sangha there. It was different than even it is now, which is pretty vast and open. And when I moved there, I got really depressed. Well, I don't know if it's not that kind of lethargic, kind of heavy depression. It was like a buzzy kind of really deeply painful, like all my bones hurt inside. It was really terrifying. I could say that the experience was terrifying for me. And every morning it would wake me up like an alarm at 3 o'clock. And I was really in pain, like I've never been in my whole life. And I don't know why exactly I had it. And what I did during the day was I just kind of pressed myself into my chair and sit there. And just, because energetically it was so difficult. And then it was an odd thing though, because like at 4 in the afternoon when the sun would get really soft, it completely evaporated. And my mind was so free and I couldn't understand how I was depressed. But then every morning at 3, it was like boom. And this was like over a month, like 6 weeks of really incredible terror and pain. And by maybe by the 5th week or so, I started, because I saw I couldn't fix it. That's the weird thing, interesting thing about depression. I called it that thing, that thing, because I didn't even know what it was or what the causes were. But you can't fix it, and you can't respond to your life or relate to your mind in the way that you're used to. So I had to just relax, and it became this incredible blessing, because what happened was I stopped objectifying it. It's not any different from the lake, actually. Because what are these things before you embellish them and try to subjugate them or subdue them or put a lid on them? This is a practitioner's question, What is experience before we meddle with it? We mess with it so much, And this is what I started to ask myself. And when I started to ask myself this question, the whole thing thawed. I started to miss it. It was like you start to be interested in being in the eye of the storm. And tremendous, Rinpoche has said, he said it to me, he said it to Ani Pema too. Now it's famous because Ani Pema, everybody heard it. But he said it to me also during this period of time, that depression is dakini bliss. When we talk about bliss or practice experience or awakening, it's experience before we mess with it. It's our ability to rests in that wonderment state. So depression is the same, So as practitioners, it's interesting. Beauty can be painful. Depression can be painful. It just depends on what we do with it, if we close down around it or not. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's a great question. And it's one of my favorite. People love this story. In France, I told this story once.